Ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest. Aging is not always as graceful as the magazines and TV commercials show us. After 70, life reveals truths that can feel raw, even brutal. And one of the heaviest burdens is loneliness. But understanding these realities isn't about giving up. It's about preparing, adapting, and creating a life of dignity, strength, and joy. Before we begin, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any video. Reality 1: your social circle shrinks faster than you think. One of the hardest truths about life after 70 is realizing just how quickly your social circle changes. In your younger years, it might have felt like people were always around. Friends dropping by, coworkers to chat with, neighbors knocking at the door, or family filling the house with laughter and noise. But as time moves forward, you begin to notice an undeniable shift. Friends move away to live closer to their children, some pass away, others become too ill to stay socially active, and even your own energy for constant gatherings begins to slow down. The people you once leaned on, the ones who gave color and richness to your daily life, may no longer be there. That shrinking circle can feel like a punch to the heart, leaving empty spaces in conversations and silences in moments that used to be full. For many seniors, this sudden quietness is shocking. It doesn't happen all at once. It's gradual, like the fading of a sunset. At first, you don't even notice. Maybe a friend cancels lunch, maybe a neighbor moves, maybe a child gets busier with work. But then, one day, you look around and realize that the bustling community you once had has become small and still. This is the brutal reality. Your circle will shrink, whether you want it to or not. Yet, within this harsh truth lies a powerful opportunity. The shrinking of your social circle doesn't mean the end of connection. It simply means connection will require more intention. Where friendships used to come naturally from work or raising children, now they need to be cultivated with purpose. Think about a garden when you're younger. It grows wildly on its own, filled with energy and life. But later the soil dries up unless you water it deliberately. Friendships work the same way. You may not stumble into new friends every day, but with effort, you can grow bonds that are meaningful and lasting. It might mean joining a senior center where others are also looking for companionship. It might mean signing up for a hobby class, painting, gardening, or dancing, where conversations begin easily because you're sharing a passion. It could even be as simple as walking into a cafe and striking up a conversation with someone new. The truth is, opportunities for connections still exist. The key is being willing to reach for them. And here's another important thing to remember. Your circle may shrink in numbers, but it can grow in depth. While you may not have dozens of people to talk to like you once did, the friendships you build now can be richer, more authentic, and more nourishing. Instead of shallow conversations, you'll find yourself connecting on deeper levels, sharing stories of resilience, wisdom, and lessons that only decades of life can teach. Quality can replace quantity, and that shift can be beautiful if you allow it. This reality also invites you to reimagine family ties. Maybe your children or grandchildren are busy, but instead of feeling like a burden, you can open new doors with them. A weekly phone call, a family dinner, or even learning to send them a text can bridge the gap. Loneliness often grows when we expect people to come to us, but it shrinks when we decide to take the first step. Being proactive, reaching out, and showing genuine interest can reignite bonds that seem to fade. The shrinking of your social circle is not something you can stop. It's part of the natural flow of life, but you can choose how you respond. You can choose to let the silence swallow you, or you can choose to seek out new voices, fresh stories, and lasting connections. Yes, the reality is harsh. The crowd around you may no longer be what it once was, but it's also empowering. You still have the ability to create a circle, even if it's smaller, that fills your life with warmth, laughter, and belonging. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how many people are in your circle. It's about how much love, joy, and meaning you share with the ones who remain. And that choice, even after 70, is still yours to make. Reality 2: loneliness hurts the body as much as the mind. Loneliness after 70 is more than just an emotional burden, it's a physical one. Many people think of loneliness as only a state of mind, a sense of emptiness or isolation, but science has shown us it is much deeper than that. When the heart longs for connection and the mind is starved of companionship, the body begins to pay the price. It's not only about sadness or missing someone, it's about how your body responds when you feel unseen, unheard, or unvalued. And the response is brutal. Loneliness has been linked to higher risks of heart disease, strokes, weakened immunity, and even memory decline. Imagine that. A lack of social connection can be just as harmful as smoking or obesity. That's how powerful its impact is. Think about the days when you wake up with no one to talk to. You eat breakfast alone, watch TV in silence, and maybe wait all day just to hear the phone ring. That silence doesn't only echo in your ears, it seeps into your body. Stress hormones like cortisol rise, blood pressure ticks up, and your body begins to feel heavier, more tired, less alive. Over time, these invisible changes add up to serious health problems. The truth is that loneliness doesn't just make you feel older, it makes you age faster. And then there's the impact on the brain. When you don't engage in regular conversation, when you don't laugh with someone, share ideas, or simply tell stories, your brain becomes understimulated. It's like a muscle that hasn't been used. It weakens. Many seniors don't realize that loneliness is directly tied to memory loss and cognitive decline. It's not about intelligence, it's about exercise. Just as your legs grow weaker when you stop walking, your mind grows slower when you stop connecting. That's why loneliness isn't just painful, it's dangerous. But here's the good news. Once you recognize that loneliness is not only emotional but physical, you can treat it like any other health condition. If you knew you had high blood pressure, you wouldn't ignore it. You'd take steps to lower it. If you knew your bones were weak, you'd find ways to strengthen them. Loneliness demands the same attention. Picking up the phone to call a friend isn't just for your heart, it's for your health. Joining a community group or a walking club isn't just to pass the time, it's to protect your immune system, to sharpen your memory, to keep your body strong. Think about how alive you feel after a good laugh with someone. Your shoulders relax, your breathing deepens, and your mood lifts. That's not just happiness, it's healing. A conversation over tea, a shared hobby, or even chatting with a neighbor while watering the garden are all tiny acts of medicine. Each one lowers stress, strengthens the heart, and fuels the mind. Loneliness may hurt the body, but connection repairs it. And let's not forget the simple but profound truth: we are wired for connection. As children, we craved it naturally. As adults, we thrived on it. And as seniors, we need it more than ever. But unlike children, we can't wait for connection to come to us. We must seek it out. It might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you've grown used to being alone, but every step you take toward companionship is a step toward health. Invite a friend over, join a local club, volunteer your time, or learn to use technology to video call your loved ones. Each effort is an investment in both your mind and your body. Loneliness is real, and its effects are brutal, but it doesn't have to be permanent. By treating it as a health challenge rather than just an emotional one, you give yourself the power to fight back. The silence may be heavy, but your actions can break it. And every new voice, every shared moment, every smile exchanged has the power to heal not only your heart, but your entire being. Reality 3: technology can either isolate or liberate you. For many people over 70, technology feels like a foreign language. Confusing, overwhelming, and even unnecessary. Yet this same technology can either cut you off from the world or open doors to endless connection. It all depends on how you choose to approach it. On one side, refusing to learn smartphones, computers, or social media can create a barrier between you and loved ones. On the other, even a little willingness to adapt can bring you closer to family, friends, and opportunities you never thought possible. This is the brutal reality. Technology has become the bridge of modern communication, and whether it isolates you or liberates you is entirely in your hands. Imagine two seniors living in the same neighborhood. One struggles with the latest devices, gets frustrated with buttons and screens, and eventually gives up, saying, "This isn't for me." The other takes small steps, asking for help, watching tutorials, practicing little by little. At first, it feels strange, but soon they are video calling grandchildren in another country, sharing photos, and even joining online groups where they make new friends. Both are in their 70s, but their lives look completely different. One grows lonelier with each passing year, while the other feels a renewed sense of connection and relevance. The difference is not intelligence, but openness. Technology is not perfect, and yes, it can be intimidating. The menus are confusing, the passwords are endless, and updates seem constant. But remember this: every skill you have today once felt difficult at first. Driving a car, writing a letter, even cooking a new recipe, all of it required practice and patience. Technology is no different. Once you take that first brave step, it transforms from a wall into a doorway. Think about what's possible. With a smartphone or computer, you can see the smiling face of a grandchild hundreds of miles away. You can join a virtual book club with people who share your interests. You can learn a new skill, from painting to gardening tips, just by watching a video. You can even order groceries without leaving home, making life easier and more independent. Instead of shrinking your world, technology can expand it beyond what you thought possible at your age. Of course, it's also true that technology can be misused. Too much time scrolling through negative news or isolating yourself behind a screen can increase loneliness instead of decreasing it. That's why balance is important. Use technology as a tool for connection, not a replacement for real human contact. Let it be the bridge that helps you reach others, not the wall that keeps you locked away in a virtual bubble. What makes this reality so powerful is the choice it offers. You can let fear or resistance close the door, or you can let curiosity open it. It's not about becoming a computer expert or mastering every new gadget. It's about using what's available to stay connected and engaged. Even learning one simple thing, like sending a text message or joining a video call, can make a huge difference in how you experience life after 70. Think of technology as an invitation. It invites you to reconnect with people you miss, to discover new passions, and to feel part of a world that's constantly moving forward. You don't have to be left behind. Yes, it takes effort, and yes, it can feel uncomfortable at first, but the reward is freedom. The freedom to stay in touch, to keep learning, to keep living fully. The reality is simple. Technology will either isolate you if you resist it, or liberate you if you embrace it. At this stage of life, when loneliness can easily creep in, why not choose the path that opens doors? Why not allow technology to be your ally, your bridge, and your lifeline? Because in a world where distance often separates us, mastering even a small piece of technology can mean the difference between silence and connection, between isolation and belonging. Reality for independence can turn into isolation. Independence is one of the greatest sources of pride after 70. You've spent decades building a life where you could stand on your own 2 feet, make decisions, and care for yourself. That sense of control gives dignity and confidence. But here's the paradox. Sometimes the very independence you value so deeply can quietly transform into isolation. When you insist on doing everything yourself, when you avoid asking for help, or when you pull away because you don't want to bother anyone, you might not realize that you're slowly cutting yourself off from the world around you. Many seniors repeat the same phrase, "I don't want to be a burden." On the surface, it sounds noble. But in reality, what often happens is that family members, friends, and neighbors begin to assume you're fine on your own. They stop checking in as often, they wait for you to call instead of reaching out themselves, and before long, you find yourself spending more and more time alone. Your independence, while admirable, starts to build invisible walls. Think about how many small opportunities for connection slip away because of this mindset. Maybe you turn down an invitation to dinner because you don't want anyone to rearrange plans for you. Maybe you refuse a ride to the doctor because you feel guilty about someone taking time out of their day. Maybe you decide not to ask a neighbor for help with groceries because you don't want to seem weak. Each decision feels small, but together they form a pattern that slowly isolates you from the companionship and care that could enrich your life. True independence is not about rejecting help. It's about knowing when to accept it. Strength isn't measured by how much you can handle alone. It's measured by how wisely you can balance self-reliance with connection. There's courage in admitting, "I could use some company today," or "I'd appreciate your help with this." In fact, those small acts of openness often deepen relationships. When you let someone help you, you're not showing weakness. You're giving them the chance to show love. It's also important to recognize that independence can sometimes mask loneliness. You may tell yourself, "I don't need anyone, I'm fine by myself." But deep down, you crave conversation, laughter, or just the comfort of another person's presence. Denying that need doesn't make you stronger, it makes the loneliness heavier. A house can be spotless, meals can be cooked, and bills can be paid. But if no one is there to share those moments, life begins to feel empty. The solution isn't to give up independence, it's to redefine it. Independence should mean having control over your choices, not isolation from others. It should mean having the freedom to decide when you want solitude and when you want company. It should mean knowing that asking for help does not erase your strength, it adds to it. By opening the door to others, you allow life to flow in and out, keeping your days vibrant instead of stagnant. Imagine the difference between two seniors. One insists on doing everything alone, rarely reaching out, quietly growing lonelier with each passing year. The other balances independence with connection, enjoying privacy and self-reliance but also welcoming family visits, accepting help when needed, and reaching out to friends regularly. Both are capable, both are independent, but only one is truly living. The brutal reality is that independence, left unchecked, can become a prison. But with awareness and intention, it can become the foundation for a fulfilling life, one where you remain strong, respected, and deeply connected. After 70, independence should not mean isolation. It should mean freedom, the freedom to live fully, with both self-reliance and the joy of companionship woven together. Reality 5. You must create purpose beyond longevity. Living longer is a gift. But without purpose, those extra years can feel like an endless stretch of time rather than a fulfilling journey. One of the hardest truths after 70 is realizing that longevity alone is not enough to bring happiness. Simply waking up each day does not guarantee meaning. The days can easily blend into one another if there is no driving force, no reason to get out of bed with excitement, no sense of contribution or growth. That emptiness is where loneliness grows strongest. But when you find purpose, whether small or grand, life regains its spark, and every day becomes an opportunity to live fully rather than just exist. Purpose does not have to be extraordinary. You don't need to start a business, write a book, or change the world to feel fulfilled. Sometimes it's as simple as tending to a garden, knowing that the flowers you nurture bring beauty into the world. It could be baking bread for your neighbors, knitting blankets for a charity, or mentoring a younger person who benefits from your wisdom and life experience. These actions may look small, but their impact is powerful. They give you a sense that you are needed, that your presence makes a difference, and that your life continues to add value to others. Many seniors underestimate just how much wisdom and knowledge they carry. You've lived through decades of change, challenges, and victories. You've raised families, built careers, overcome hardships, and experienced joys that younger generations can learn from. Yet too often, that wisdom is left unshared because of the belief that people are too busy to listen, or my stories don't matter. The truth is, they do matter. Every story, every lesson, every piece of advice has the potential to guide someone else. Passing on your experiences gives you purpose, and it creates a legacy that outlives you. Purpose also acts as a shield against the effects of loneliness. When you have a reason to engage with the world, you naturally create opportunities for connection. For example, volunteering at a local community center not only helps others, but also surrounds you with new people who share your values. Joining a book club gives you a reason to read, reflect, and connect with fellow readers. Even something as simple as committing to daily walks can create purpose when you set a goal for your health and notice the progress you make. Each of these actions pulls you out of isolation and into meaningful activity. Without purpose, however, time becomes heavy. Days feel long and unmotivated, and the absence of meaning deepens the silence around you. That's why seniors who retire without developing new passions often struggle. Work used to provide purpose. Waking up for a job, completing tasks, and interacting with others. When that ends, the void can feel overwhelming unless you actively fill it with new reasons to feel alive. Retirement should not be the end of purpose. It should be the chance to redefine it. It's also worth remembering that purpose doesn't only serve you, it serves those around you. Think of the joy a grandchild feels when you attend their recital, the relief a neighbor experiences when you lend a helping hand, or the pride your family feels when you continue to grow and learn even at your age. Your purpose radiates outward, touching others in ways you may not even realize. The brutal reality is that longevity without purpose can lead to loneliness, emptiness, and decline. But when you anchor your life in purpose, whether through connection, creativity, contribution, or curiosity, those extra years become vibrant, meaningful, and deeply rewarding. Purpose is not measured by age, and it does not expire. At 70 and beyond, you still have the ability to inspire, to teach, to love, and to create. And when you live with purpose, you don't just survive the years, you truly thrive in them.